What's going on, guys? Back with another episode of Crypto Car Chronicles, man. And I want to talk about something very important that a lot of us don't really think about, and we don't really consider or give it much thought beforehand, before trading. So what I want to talk about is entry and exit points and how you should develop a plan. I always say this. You should develop a plan on how to get into something and get out of something. Now, a lot of times when we get into something, and when I say get into, I mean buy into it, trade into it. When we get into something, usually we have less of a hard time deciding if the project we're going to get into, like if it's worth it, right? We can make that decision fairly quickly if we want to be involved. The hard part seems to be when to get out or when to start cashing out. And a lot of us have that issue. And I have that issue myself. I still have that issue. And it's because when I go into a project, I don't really foresee the potential that it may have in the form of a number as far as how much the fiat value is, right? So for example, you may jump into a project that looks promising. It's like, let's say it's a startup. It looks promising, but you don't know just how far it could go. We all hope for $50+ million market cap. We all hope for stuff like that, but it's not going to happen with everything, and it won't. So how do you judge the potential, and how do you put a number on it? And when is it safe for you to pull out? A lot of us get this feeling right here. We get into a token, it starts doing good, it starts to pump, right? And then we're up maybe 2x. That's good. But a lot of us will stay and say, nah, I'm waiting for that 10x. And a lot of times, the reality of the situation is that a lot of times these tokens will not 10x. I mean, that 10xing is very rare, right? And unless you're trying to spend all your time, oh my God, this car's gonna get smashed. Unless you spend all your time trying to find those projects that have that type of potential, it's still not a guarantee that it's gonna be what you think it is or what they tell you it's gonna be. So you have to kind of be okay with jumping in a project and saying, you know, I would love to 2x my money on this. Even if it's 2x in your money and you put in half a BNB on something, if you're on Binance, say you put in half a BNB, and now that half BNB, you know, is worth, you know, the $150 now is worth like 600. Do you take it, or do you get greedy and say, oh nah, I'm gonna see if this hit a couple thousand? That's usually the issue that we have, is that we see the results that we were hoping for at $600. You're like, that's damn good. And instead of pulling out, we get greedy and we start to say, well, maybe it can do even more. If it got here this quick, it met my expectations, maybe it can do even more. What if I pull out and it doubles in price, it does another 2x? It's like you get swayed by the potential, gains. And that's dangerous, because you have to know when to take profit, even if it is a couple $100, even if it is something like that. You know what I mean? You want to be able to recognize where you're at, what your expectations were, and if they've been met. And even if they're not met, sometimes it's better to just get out with a little bit of profit and move on, or watch it, than simply hoping or you end up selling off all your stuff because of you know, it's going down and there's no sign of it coming back up. So I think you got to definitely have more of a better idea of how you want to enter a project and how you want to exit, because it can be very, very, and then, you know, the reason why I'm saying this is because there are a few of them that I was in that I've made videos about, that it was making me very, very good money. And I notice the downtrend. And just because a project is good doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue to be on an uptrend. It's just the way it is, just the way people trade, that you know, sometimes it's just not going to continue looking like you want it to look, simply because people are trading it into oblivion. So you have to recognize that and just know that, okay, well, I do believe in this project, but my stop, my point to get this out, to get my earnings out, is now. If it continues to go down and I pull out, then I save myself from losing more and more value, just to hope that it's going to come back up. So for example, I was in the PAC token, right? $PAC. And it's a good token, right? And it's a good team, the KYC, the docs, and it's a really good project. And you know, their NFTs are going to be rolling out pretty soon. And a lot of people don't have patience with that. Personally, I think that they shouldn't have launched their token, done what they've done so far, and then still have people waiting on NFTs. I think that if you're going to do something like that, you should have your NFT collection already in development or already being made. But a lot of what I notice is that people may get quotes from designers and stuff like that to get their NFTs made, but they haven't actively put a deposit on it. They've only gotten everything down on paper, and that's it. And so they wait for investment money to come in to start paying for it and getting it going. And a lot of people don't have patience with that. So, but I was in that token and I noticed there was a downtrend. And I said, you know what, let me just hold on. And I did, I held on. And it got to a point where I was about to be in the red. So I pulled out and then I waited and it dropped. And I said, okay, let me jump back in again because it's dropped. So now I can get more tokens. I went back in again. It went back up. And then it started dropping. I was almost red again. I pulled out and I kind of just left it alone for about 3 or 4 days. I came back and checked on it this morning and it was even lower than what I sold it for. And so I'm just like, it kept going down and it's still on a downward trend. So it's hemorrhaging, it's bleeding out. And my job is to try to figure out what's going on. Is it still a project that you should invest in at this point while it's on a downtrend, or do you wait for some settling before you invest? You know, a lot of factors depend on what is the company doing, what are they putting out, what are their promises, where are we at on the roadmap, how close are they getting, are they to getting things done? And so I think like I said, you gotta answer questions like that. You gotta answer questions like that. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Think about these things. Catch you in the next one. Peace.